Please excuse me, I'm a little cold. I have never seen anything like this election cycle. It is so obvious, it is so transparent, and what I'm talking about is this. Every single celebrity that parades out for the Democratic Party endorsing Kamala Harris, it has just never been so obvious the out of touch, the class divide. Who was it? Leonardo DiCaprio endorses Kamala Harris citing climate change. The same guy that goes around the world in his private jet. Unbelievable. Beyonce comes out last night at a rally, and we're going to get to that in a minute because it was actually really funny. Beyonce comes out, endorses Kamala Harris because women's rights. Cyndi Lauper, is that her name? Basically, Seth Rogen, because marijuana. And all of these people. What they don't realize is the real issues that are impacting America right now: inflation, grocery prices, gas prices, mass illegal immigration, crime, schools, public schools. These are all issues that these people don't have to worry about. It doesn't matter who's in office for them because they're not affected by these issues at all. And these are the top issues with voters. It is wild. And Beyonce, it's crazy too because to use women's issues during this election cycle, all the Democrats have for women's issues are abortion. That is all they have. But let me tell you something. And if you have a friend who is a woman who is voting Democrat and is citing because my body, my choice, why don't you let that person know that Kamala Harris and company, the Biden administration, has allowed in millions and millions of illegal immigrants. And some of those happen to be very, very bad people. Some of them happen to be from gangs that kill and traffic women. Some of them are from an area where there is a term that I didn't know before. I know now because we never had to know it in America. That term is called femicide. That's right. We are importing femicidal maniacs. Obviously not everyone. I'm clearly talking about the person who took the life of Laken Riley. I'm clearly talking about the men that took the life of Jocelyn Nungaray. I'm clearly talking about the man that took the life of Rachel Morin, which, by the way, could have been me, could have been you, could have been your sister, your daughter, your mother, your aunt, your friend, could have been any of us, because that's what they do. They're crimes of opportunity just because these are women. And let me tell you something. If you don't have public safety, you have zero rights. So I'm being lectured by someone who isn't going to face the same things that I face, because this person has the luxury of living in a gated mansion. Oh, I think Beyonce just purchased the most expensive home ever in California. This ridiculous home. And I'm going to get lectured on who I should vote for? You don't have to worry about these issues. You have a security detail. It's unbelievable. And the fact that so many women have been convinced of this. The same party that votes to defund the police, soft on crime policies, soft on crime prosecutors. It's crazy. And let me tell you something else. The class divide. Let's go back to that. Did you know that the counties that voted for Biden, so the counties in this country that are overwhelmingly Democratic, and you can fact check me on this, I just don't feel like putting the graphic up. They hold 70% of the GDP. 70% of the GDP. So what does that tell you? The Democratic Party is not the party of the working class anymore. It is the party of the wealthy elite who look down on the working class. I will never, ever vote for these policies. Ever. I hear people all the time. I watch video after video after video after video of young people feeling like they're not going to be able to afford the American dream. We're living in the first generation where this generation is going to have it worse than their parents. They're not going to have all the same opportunities that their parents did. They feel like they're never going to be able to afford to own a home. You have people right now that are making more money than they've ever made, yet they have less because the price of everything keeps going up. And Kamala Harris wants to give mass amnesty to all those people she let in. Now, to the funny part about what happened last night. So, obviously, the desperation, we're rolling out all the celebrities because that's going to work this time. I don't think so. I think the Democratic Party have jumped the shark a little bit too much, and I don't think it's going to work this time. But that's just me. So Beyonce was going to be there. That was a really big deal. It was announced. This rally was in Houston, so that's Beyonce's hometown. Beyonce's going to be here. Beyonce's going to be here. That's so exciting. So Beyonce gets there. She talks for maybe a few seconds and leaves, like doesn't perform or anything. And her fans were furious. Clearly that stadium was packed for Beyonce. Not Kamala Harris. They wanted to see some Beyonce. So Kamala Harris got booed by Beyonce fans. The same thing I think happened in Atlanta. Who was it that they brought out? They brought out, this was months ago, they brought out a big celebrity in Atlanta to get people to the Kamala Harris event. And I believe when I can't remember who it was, but when that person was finished talking and they left, so did half the audience, because that's who they were really there to see. It's just wild at this point. Anyway, that's what had happened. Those are my thoughts. I just think it's hilarious that women have been convinced that women's rights equals one thing. And don't even get me started on why most women actually do the one thing, because that's a conversation that we don't really have. Most women, I would argue, do the thing because they're actually pressured by their boyfriends who don't want the baby. And that's supposed to be empowering and women's rights.